Welcome, everyone, to the best sports betting show on the planet. This is WagerTalk Today. It's where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's a big lineup, guys. Joe Raineri is going to start us off. Full breakdown, Cowboys, Lions on Thursday Night Football, along with college hoops, Utah State and South Florida. Then we're going to break down Lakers and Raptors. Luka is going viral on social media for one of the weirdest things I have ever seen. Then we're going to talk Thursday Night Football props. We've got a same game parlay for everybody. And then we got a special guest. Kyle Anthony is going to join us. We have a huge pay-per-view, the last pay-per-view ever for UFC, so we got to talk about it. We'll break down some fights on UFC 323. So we got big games, we got big fights, big edges. Let's jump in here. Before we bring on Joe, couple things. The cricket play, guys, this play could last 5 days. There's a chance this play goes into Monday. It's a test match. It's so long to go. I know everyone wants updates. There is really not an update. It's just going to last a long time. All right, let's bring in Joe Raineri. Joe, I got a surprise for you. I can't wait. Have you seen this thing about going on social media with Luka that he's married and his wife is back in?
Wait, what? What? Now you're going to make me look this up, aren't you? Now you're going to make me dive in here. You're going to, just that rabbit hole. You got to throw that right out off the bat, huh? Oh, my goodness.
Yes, so you get to break down the Lakers and Raptors tonight. But yes, Luka on social media, this is something I did not expect to wake up to. But this is the upside of social media, Joe. Every once in a while, you just get something that can. You're seeing it now, huh?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, who knew?
Nobody knew. Nobody knew. So we're going to break that down, and then I got a special surprise for you, Joe. I didn't want to tell you about it. I got a special surprise. You and I are going to go over something, but we got to talk this Cowboys-Lions matchup. This is a huge week. The schedule makers nailed it at the beginning of the season for this week because we have game after game after game that is just a lot of playoff implications, and this is one of the big ones. We got Detroit -3 over under 54.5. Thursday night football games have been wonky this year. How do you break this big game down tonight?
Well, there seems to be a couple of different things going on. I just did a show with, of course, the best betting show ever with Art the Caesar, and there is a clear divide here between the pros and Joes on the total. The public loves themselves an over here. In fact, this thing could go off as the highest total of the season in the NFL. Kind of been bouncing back and forth at 54 and a half. But starting to see the pro money coming in on the under right now in this one. And we all know the public's running to the window to back the Cowboys. They're America's team after all. And maybe, just maybe, the public is starting to sell some stock here in Detroit. I've been screaming, Andy, that, listen, the minute Dan Campbell took over the play calling for Detroit, we got a problem here, guys. We got a big problem. They've also gone away from the run-and-gun, up-tempo style offense, and they've become much more run-heavy, Detroit, and it makes sense. All their guys are injured, right? Amon St. Brown out, Raymond out, Laporta gone for the season. So what does that leave him? Williams, well, he doesn't have the greatest of hands, right? Does it make any sense to keep trying? They can't get a first down on, going for it on fourth down. There's a lot of issues. They tried getting a guy off the damn couch, Andy, to try to help them on the offensive line. And what a shocker, eating Doritos and pulling hamstrings. He couldn't pass the physical. What a shock here. So there are some issues on Detroit's side, not so many issues on Dallas's side right now because of the defense. But the play that I like the most, I think, is I'm cutting this game in half. Detroit's defense, don't forget they lost offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, right? A lot of newness going on in this building. Detroit's defense has allowed 13 or more first half points now in 4 of their last 5 games. Those games included the Commanders, the Vikings, the Giants, And, of course, the Eagles, who Dan will tell you has no offense, and the Packers, who we can't seem to figure out which team shows up on a week-to-week basis. Do you know who the number one team is in first-half scoring, or at least top 3 in first-half scoring? Yeah, it's the Dallas Cowboys, who have now scored, you ready for this? 14 or more points, I believe, in 7 of their last 10 games. Dallas likes to play from in front. Dallas starts very fast. It's not a great matchup. I think looking at that first half over, or more importantly, the Cowboys 12.5 is their first half team total. If I'm not getting at least 2 touchdowns by the Cowboys here, I don't know, something's going on, but I'll take the first half over team total with the Cowboys in this one.
I like that. Yeah, it makes sense. Dak, CD, Javante, like Pickens, all 100%. The scripted plays go well for Cowboys. Makes all the sense in the world. So, and you're right. Like, dude, you're bringing a guy in off the couch and he can't pass a physical. That's who you're hoping can play offensive line for you.
Your hamstring's hanging off your bone. Like, dude, how does that happen? Like, and you thought, I'll unretire, no problem. I'll just rub some dirt on it and get back in there. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he had to have known he had a pulled hamstring. Why would you show up for that physical? It makes no sense.
Unreal.
Let's move to let's move to college hoops here before we get to this suddenly polarizing Lakers-Raptors game. Utah State versus South Florida. I don't know anything about these teams here. What do we know about Utah State? What do we know about South Florida? And what are we doing with this game tonight?
Well, what we know about Utah State is I believe they're top 40 in KenPom now, and they are undefeated, right? 7-0 overall. But they did have a close one, I guess, against Montana State last weekend. They do have a mutual opponent in the first month. I believe both of these teams played Virginia Commonwealth, VCU. And Utah State handled, and UCF had an issue with them. So, we have some data points on this, but the market can't seem to make up their mind here, Andy, because we saw Utah State go off and open up as the favorite. And then all of a sudden now we've seen nothing but money coming in on South Florida here. So Utah State, 2.5-point favorite to open. And now we are seeing pick'ems, even -1s in the market on South Florida. And listen, both teams are going to want to play with some tempo here. It would not shock me if this thing goes flying over the total. But right now there seems to be a big counter argument here. While the market opened up loving Utah State, South Florida getting an awful lot of love right now. And I don't think that's public love here in this one.
So you thinking sharp?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
All sharp money on this one?
All sharp money, absolutely. Yep, all sharp money here. And the bigger problem is that South Florida has been very inconsistent offensively. When they're on and when the shots are dropped, they're great. The problem is Utah State has been way more consistent, way more efficient offensively. So I get why Utah State opened up as the favorite, but boy, oh boy, that's way too much steam on South Florida to ignore.
All right, let's move to this Lakers and Raptors. For those of you that don't know what's going on, the headline is Luka Doncic and his wife have welcomed their second daughter today, and he will miss the game. And the game is secondary to this. Everyone is like, wait a minute, he's married and now he has 2 kids? This is news to me. Has this ever happened to you, Joe? It happened to me one time.
I've never had to miss a game for having a second kid. Nobody I knew I had to begin with. So, no, this is very uncharted territory for me. And I would imagine a lot of Laker fans are going, wait, what? What's happening here? I don't understand, Luka. Did anybody know this? I don't think I've ever seen an interview with him and her. Have you?
No, this is completely news to me.
Wow.
This happened to me one time. I worked at a place and worked with, it was a hotel. And after a year, this guy who I knew he moved there from somewhere, randomly, he's like, hey, this is my wife and 3 kids. And we're all like,
Wow.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. What? You
Yeah.
have a wife and 3 kids? We worked with you for a year and not one mention of it?
Never came up in conversation. Never came up in conversation.
Not
of course
one
not.
time.
Why
It
would
was absolutely hilarious. Well, what are we going to do with this Lakers and Raptors team? This Lakers team, I don't know, before the season, maybe play in. They're legit, man. This team is really good, but now obviously no Luka, so the Raptors are going to be slight favorites here. What do you do with this Lakers-Raptors game tonight?
I think it's hilarious. Well, I mean, we saw what the market did, right? Last night, I believe, prior to the announcement of him having his 9th kid with his 3rd wife, apparently. Nobody knew this. You might as well. But they were a 2.5, 3-point favorite in the look ahead here. And now, of course, we've seen that thing flip where Toronto is looking at the favorite now 2.5. So it was a big swing the other way. But listen, I mean, the Lakers had their 7-game winning streak stopped, right? They were just awful in that Phoenix Suns game on Monday. I think they turned it over 20-plus times. Phoenix got 32 points off of those turnovers. It's not going to be easier, certainly here with the Raptors. And you're talking about a guy in Luka now that's a huge chunk of their offense. I watched LeBron James play here, Andy. You've seen this. He looks about 5 steps slower than he's ever looked here. So he is not going to pick up the offensive slack by not having Luka on the court. So it's advantage Toronto in a big, big way. But you and I both know, Andy, in these situations, the overreaction in the market to one star not playing in a game, it goes so far the other way that all the value, believe it or not, is probably backing the Lakers right now, Andy. We've seen it how many years where it's like, oh, no, Luka, no, there's no way we got it. Yeah, and then what do? They end up winning by double digits anyway. So I would be careful. It makes sense Toronto at home will have an advantage, but them offensively, they haven't exactly been great the last couple of weeks. You got to be careful in this spot, but I get why the market has moved to Toronto. But would it shock me if the Lakers still won by 8 without Luka? Absolutely not.
No, I feel like this happens with Giannis.
Yeah, same thing.
It's like, Giannis is ruled out. Bucks win by 3.
Dude, he lasted 3 minutes in the game last night, and they still won. Like, come on. Like, really?
I know.
Way to go, Detroit.
All right. We have a surprise for you, Joe. You and I have been doing the update for LSU and Lane Kiffin and Brian Kelly. So we kind of have some closure here. So I have to ask you, what some of the best moments, what was your favorite here? So I have the governor gets involved in the Brian Kelly firing, rips the AD, then the AD gets fired. We have LSU claiming they're just not going to pay Brian Kelly. You have Lane Kiffin quits Ole Miss, leaves for LSU, wants to coach both schools, though. And then you have the Ole Miss players calling out Lane Kiffin after the locker room meeting. Just a great sequence of events. I have my favorite. What's yours?
Oh, a lot of this was good. I mean, the governor, this whole thing starting with the governor, this would not have been nearly the story had the governor not got up to the podium and just ripped the athletic director, say that, he'd rather have President Trump choose the next coach than the athletic director. And then all of a sudden you're like, boy, oh boy, they do it a little differently in Louisiana, don't they? And they certainly do. So I think the setup, the context, by the governor getting involved, still having to pay Brian Kelly $50 million just to go away. I mean, this whole thing has been a S show from the beginning, Andy, and I, for one, am all with it. Careful what you wish for, LSU. You got him now. Now let's see how long he lasts before you end up paying him just to go away as well.
My favorite is him wanting to coach both colleges.
Oh, yeah, well,
that's my favorite. I quit. I'm going over here to LSU, one of your rivals, but I would like to coach both at the same time. I would like to recruit at LSU and coach for the next.
No problem. And if you don't let me, I'm gonna dismantle the staff and take everyone with me to LSU. And then he makes it seem like he did Ole Miss a favor by sending back the offensive coordinator, which might be the funniest thing I've ever heard, when that was already decided weeks ago if he was going to leave. Very funny.
It was great. Yeah, being able to coach two rivals at the same time. And
No conflict of interest.
Ego to think they were gonna say like, yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Yes.
It's been one of the best stories of the year. So,
yeah.
All right, Joe, what do you have up for everyone at Wager Talk on this Thursday?
Locked and loaded. Do have a 5% max play tonight on this Thursday night football game between Dallas and Detroit. You can grab that. Also locked in on 2 of the conference championship games in college football, that as well. But you get both of those in a package right now, available over at WagerTalk.com. And shout out, by the way, to James Franklin, the best troll job of the week, by bringing out the crumble cookies yesterday to announce that they are tops in the recruiting trail. They're signing not 1, not 2, but 10 players that were apparently headed to Penn State with him, but are no longer heading to Penn State. The dude eating crumble cookies at the podium might have been the best troll job I've seen in a long time, Andy.
Did you see the Chris Paul story about what he said to Kawhi Leonard?
Oh, my.
He was in the locker room, and he looks at Kawhi and he says, "Load management. Dude, you are the load." And the locker room apparently just went completely silent. And Kawhi left and went and talked to the office, and Chris Paul was cut later that day.
Yeah. I mean, how dare he go into what the face of that right? One of the greatest Hall of Fame all-time players that lame-ass organization has ever seen. And how dare he come in there and try and hold players accountable? How dare he, Andy?
Right?
Shocking.
What a great says the Kawhi Leonard load. You are the load. Joe Raineri, great stuff, great breakdowns as always. Thank you so much for joining us. Joe's got some college bowl plays up, and remember, guys, we're still running that $149 special. It gets all of bowl plays, and it starts right now. So any plays for conference championships starting this weekend, you're going to get those included. So take advantage of that. Joe Raineri is one that you can grab all of his bowl plays up. So Gianni's here. He's recording for Bet On It. I can do a little bit of a steam report. I went over the bowl games yesterday. Nothing has really changed. Really, the biggest move is just Boise State. But that number has settled on 4.5. So we haven't seen any movement after yesterday. We can take a look at college basketball. A little bit of movement on Davidson. They're up to 21.5, but what's the difference between 20.5 and 21.5? We got some movement on Santa Barbara. That's moved from 11 to 12.5. And other than that, there's some money coming in on UC Davis on the road at Hawaii tonight. Nothing of any note. And in the NBA, obviously the big line in the Lakers move. Other than that, not seeing a whole lot. It does look like money's coming in on Utah, which is a terrifying thing to say. -2.5. They're up to -4.5, -5. So if you want to get on the Utah Jazz, jump on them as soon as possible. All right, we got to bring in Kyle Anthony for Kyle. Not only is this the last pay-per-view of the year, last pay-per-view ever for UFC. I mean, this is kind of a big deal. Out with the old, in with the new, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I guess it's another to watch this amazing sport. We don't have to pay a multiple paywalls and get through it. This is now, before you had to have ESPN, then you had to buy the pay-per-view also and pay the subscription there. So there was a lot of that going on, but I think it's good for, it's a change. It's actually, I think, going to change a lot of things about how people kind of are looking to kind of partner up with these new companies now and say, hey, listen, people don't really want to spend $80, yet they want to watch the sport. Maybe it's going to bring new eyeballs. Maybe it's going to bring new people to the sport. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. But right, could be the last one ever. So let's make it a profitable one.
I hope it is. The gall of them to make you pay for ESPN Plus, then they show commercials, then they make you pay for the pay-per-view, and they still show commercials on the pay-per-view. I'm paying for it twice, and I have to watch commercials. Meanwhile, my friends over in Europe, they get it commercial free for free.
Dude, it's so bad. It was such a bad, and people were furious with that when they first signed with UFC. I mean, signed with ESPN. They were like, oh, so I guess it's just, and then it was 2 paywalls. So, like I said, it really gave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. At least it looks like UFC is trying to, shift away from that and fix that and try to, I guess make the fans a little bit more happier. So, like I said, it'll be interesting to see it pans out and how that's all going to work out for 2026.
Yeah, I mean, pay-per-views, it's such an archaic.
Yeah, right. It is.
Can we get ahead of the game here, guys? All right. Well, we have a huge pay-per-view. It's very, very bettable. Let's go through some fights. I'm going to start off with, let's do the co-main here. I'll let you break this one down. I mean, I feel like both the main and the co-main, the champs, they're just running out of guys. They're just running out of opponents. So how do you break this one down? We got Pantoja coming up against Josh Van. The meteoric rise of Josh Van continues. What do you see in this fight?
Yeah, so this is, like you said, a very interesting fight here. You've got Alejandro Pantoja here. He is around minus 235, and the comeback on Joshua Van is around plus 190. And, first thing being is the fact that Pantoja is definitely one of the GOATs in the flyweight division, 8-fight win streak. He's defended the belt 4 times. This will be the 5th time he's defended the belt. And although he is 35 years old, normally in these lower weight classes, you see a fall off. You see some kind of fall off or slowdown. And you're not really seeing that with him. To be honest, I feel like you're kind of getting the best version of him because he's getting better. It's hard to believe. I think stylistically, he's looking better. Physically, probably looks in the best shape that he's been in over the last few fights. So I don't know if he's eating his Wheaties, what he's doing, but it's definitely improving him. But the big thing here is that Pantoja, he's not just a grappler and, he's well-rounded. He's got the striking. He's going to come forward. He's going to throw big, heavy shots. He's going to crash the pocket, try to overwhelm his opponents. And when you look at it, one of the things here is that, opponents will start to be comfortable exchanging in the pocket because he's going to exchange big. And then he tucks takedowns very timely behind these combinations, finds opportunities to get into better situations and, have more of a versatile attack. While Joshua Van, as you said, he is, I think, really is the future. He's 24 years old. He's looked absolutely great, just what he's been doing. And he deserves this title shot. There's no doubt he deserves this title shot. He's got great boxing, good volume, good cardio he's shown as well. And this won't be the last time we're going to see him in a title fight throughout his career. I think we're definitely going to see more of that. But the one thing for me that's the biggest takeaway here is the fact that, Joshua Van, he's so new to the sport, and he has talked about, although he's 24 years old, and although now the new generation, they're training everything at 10. And by the time they get to 2025, they're already, mastered so many different things. With him, he talked about in 2022, 2023, that Joshua Van hadn't really been training wrestling. And that, we see that he had been taken down in the regional scene. There's certain fighters that took him down, and he's just really like a raw talent. And I just think that this is a spot you're about to face somebody in Pantoja who's going to test that, who's going to push forward, who's going to look for those takedowns. And this is a spot where I think it's like a too much too soon for him in this spot. Again, like you're saying, they need a fresh face to face him. They were taking, fighters outside the organization to fight Alejandro Pantoja. So there is that. But Pantoja, I think that he's going to look to move forward. You've got Van, who has got great boxing. But again, he's been taken down by lesser guys. Ray Suruya took him down 4 times. Cody Durden took him down twice. Felipe Bunez took him down twice. Even though he's won those, he's still being taken down. It's an opening for him here. I just think that Pantoja is going to go the path of least resistance here. Over the last 5 fights, 29 takedowns. And even if you look at his last fight against Kai Kara-France, the big talking point there was also got great takedown defense and has good boxing. That's basically what we're saying Van here. Got good takedown defense, has good boxing. And even in that fight there, it was 3 takedowns for Pantoja, and he went out there and subbed him early in the fight. So I just think this is Pantoja's spot to win this here. Now, getting off the minus 235 number, I do like Pantoja inside the distance here. I think that he's very aggressive. He's always looking for the finish. And I think that at plus 120 is a nice price here. And I think in 5 rounds, that finish materializes here. So I think he keeps the title and gets the job done.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. I like just the fight, not to go the distance. Pantoja got insane cardio on the ground. On the feet, It's just a little bit different. So I was like, Pantoja probably subs him out. But what if Van barely survives, and then Pantoja gets a little bit tired round 4 or 5. So I'm with you though. Pantoja's an animal, and yeah, they're pulling guys out of other promotions to try and
Right.
get them
And even that was
title.
crazy. Like, it was like, wait a minute. I mean, although the guy was good, but you're like, man, this seems very strange to just take a guy and put him in a title fight. So kind of odd.
We want to ask about Merab by KO or submission at plus 440. I know where I stand on this one. Where do you stand with Merab by finish?
Yeah, I think that's, it's hard to find, I get it. We're on the side. We're looking for value, right? We're looking for value. And I understand even on the Yan side, there's a lot of great things that he does do, but coming off of the last fight where he was 50-45, really couldn't come up with anything. Merab doubled him up in significant strikes. There were just so many things here. I like inside the distance. I think that price plus 440 is really a strong price here. Over 5 rounds. Merab is definitely saying he wants to get the finish. Obviously, we don't bet when a guy just what a fighter's saying, but I think it's there. I think the opportunity is there. I think that we haven't really seen Jan. What has he really done to make us think that he's going to have this huge change and all of a sudden he's going to start dominating? Great striker. I just think that, it puts all fighters on the defensive because Merab is an absolute nightmare matchup for everybody. So I like the inside the distance here because going to decision is like minus 230. It's just, I think, a terrible price there. So I think if you're playing it, I do like Merab to get the job done inside the distance. And that's a juicy enough number to throw a little sprinkle on it.
I agree. Merab's gotten better since he whooped
Yes.
Jan. And Jan struggled with Marcus McGee. he won.
And that was a weird
struggled.
fight. That was even like, what's he fighting McGee for?
Yeah, that one made no. Again, I just think this is in the category of we're running out of guys for Merab to fight. And I kind of like what, UFC would prefer Merab to move up a weight division, fight somebody. Merab's kind of like, I'll just hang out here and beat everybody that you throw my way in my comfortable weight division. So I love the inside the distance at this plus money. I think it's absolutely worth a sprinkle. Let's talk Brendan Moreno, Tatsuro Taira. Fantastic fight. These are two guys who surely are going to be title contenders after this fight. Basically a straight pick 'em here. Moreno ever so slightly plus money. What do you make of Taira being the favorite here?
Yeah, this one was one that I definitely was flipping back and forth, up until the basically last day or so here. It's a tough one, but I do like Taira here. And, when I was going back watching past fights for Moreno, one of the things is that, yeah, he's coming off a nice victory over Steve Erceg, but I thought he really looked a lot slower. Even in the victory, I thought he looked slow. I think maybe the MMA mileage is kind of catching up with him. He's got good striking. He's a good scrambler. He's a proven vet, all of those things. But I just think Taira right now is really entering his prime. I like what I'm seeing from him. Hyung-Sung Park, he dominated. Obviously, that's not an elite level guy, but I just think we're seeing him get better here. And I can't blame that. This isn't our spot. I can't blame anyone taking Moreno at, whatever it was, like plus 110, whatever it is now. But I think Taira in this spot, I think he is the next guy up for a title shot here. And I think he can get the job done. So I think minus 125 is definitely not a bad price here at all.
Ever so slight lean to Moreno on this one. Taira's wrestling, I don't know if it's all that. I think Moreno's a little bit better on the feet, but I haven't gotten the window, so that kind of tells you everything you need to know about it. Just a couple more rapid fire. Henry Cejudo's retiring. I wasn't going to bet that fight. Now I am. This is just Faye, the retiring fighter, the wrestler that did not. It was curious he didn't wrestle in his last fight, and if you're going to try and be that short with that big of a reach disadvantage against Peyton Talbot's recipe for disaster, I'm all over Talbot. What do you think?
Yeah, same. I what you're even seeing, and even when I look on some of his Instagram stuff, I mean, Henry looks in career worse shape. I mean, he looks horrible. He looks like he's not lifting weights. He looks like he's just a YouTuber at this point. He doesn't really look like he's taking it serious. He's blasting it all over the place. It's his retirement fight. Like, it's almost like he kind of knows, like, all right, this is a terrible setup. Talbot, I think, next guy up. He's definitely has all the tools overall. He's going to have that size advantage. He's going to be much quicker. And exactly to your point, not going for takedowns and not doing what he normally does, which is his bread and butter. He's not doing it anymore. You can't expect him to last 3 rounds here. I think Talbot inside the distance here is a good play. I think early is going to be a little scrappy in that first round, but I just think Talbot finds that finish somewhere, whether it's going to be on the feet by knockout. But I think, even if he shoots for a takedown, I think Talbot's going to be able to scramble. A lot's being said about Talbot being taken down against whoever it was, whatever it was, that last fight that he had where he was taken down. He was manhandled. It didn't look good. But I think that this is a spot here where Talbot is learned from it. He's, like I said, the next guy up, and I couldn't be any lower on Henry Cejudo. He has name value, but that's about it.
Yeah, Talbot got ragdolled by Barcelos, but make no
Barcelos,
mistake,
that was it. Yeah.
Barcelos was on this, probably still on the special vitamins.
Yes,
and then finally, Kyle, can I interest you in a fighter that we have breast implants, we have religious crystals, we have seizures. No, this is not
fight seizures.
This is not a Netflix fictional. This is the life of Macy Barber just in the last year. I'm more fascinated by this fight maybe than anything. Anything can happen when you have Macy Barber involved. She's a minus 200 favorite.
Yeah.
No way I'm laying minus 200 on someone like this.
No.
What do you do with this fight?
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing. I look at it, and Barber has really a great skill set. She's still so young. She's got a lot going on, and health issues in any sport is going to devalue your performance. It doesn't really matter what it is. In a sport of combat, it's just not going to get better. I think that she's given this a shot here. The line is absolutely nuts here. I think that Silva can find takedowns. It's going to be scrappy early. I think that, Barber has anything. She's going to be able to push a little bit. She's got good volume, but like I said, the price is nuts here. This should probably be really a pick'em. So I think that there is value on Silva here, and I think even the submission is live. But I think it's going to be a scrappy fight where you see Silva win it on the scorecards. But yeah, the price is nuts, and health issues all over the place is a ton of red flags, especially at minus 200.
Yeah, go look at some of those before and after pictures of Macy Barber pre and post surgery. She went for the big ones, Kyle. She went.
I mean, why not? Why not? If you're going under the knife, build it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
And then also she's missing weight. It's like, well, gee, Macy, what did you think was going to happen?
And that even proves, again, it's the same thing. It's like, are you taking your career seriously? Do you even care? Like, do you already see, like, I'd rather look good than really look at my career and where I'm going? She's so young. Why are you doing this? So I think she sees the door as well as my health isn't good. I'm going to look for some paychecks, and then we're going to see where life takes me. So I think this is going to be close to the end of her career. But even if she wins, it still could be very close to the end of her career. That's just where she is health-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, Kyle, you jumped on at short notice here to talk, hopefully the last pay-per-view we ever get to talk about. We have a big break, but holy cow, is this UFC 324 shaping up to be a monster. Oh my God, they are booking it big for Paramount Plus. So tell everyone what you have up. It's a huge card, very bettable. I know you're locked and loaded for this one.
Yeah, so I do have a 5% play up right now. I do have 5 plays up. I'm going to have probably the most units that I've placed on an event. Last time I did that was a couple, I think it was about 2 pay-per-views ago. We ended up profiting 14 units. I'm in that position here this week. I love the spots that I have. I think there's so many good spots to bet, great lines, and I think it's going to be a great spot. So I could be at that 7 or 8 bet range, which normally I'm not at, normally at that 4 to 5 kind of range. So again, I love it from a betting perspective. Check it out, WagerTalk.com, and let's cash on this last pay-per-view.
Kyle, Anthony, yeah, it's super bettable card, man. I cannot wait for this one. So Kyle's got a lot of plays up there, got max bets. So thank you very much, Kyle, for joining us. All right, we're going to do all around the world, and we're going to do a same game parlay for tonight. So I've got a 5% UFC best bet that is up. Tonight we have one official NFL play that is up. The primetime NFL games just keep cashing. Another winner on Monday. That brings the primetime NFL record to 23-12 this season. It's been the bright spot of NFL that these primetime plays just keep hitting. I don't know the rhyme or the reason. I'm not going to question it. It's just been working. So 23-12 run. We got one Thursday Night Football best bet up in the Cowboys and Lions game. Go grab that one. I found this game to be pretty tough for a lot of props. There were just a couple that really, really stood out. So go grab that. Let's partner up. Let's cash tonight. All right, Dan, let's go all around the world. A couple props here in this one that worth looking into. I have not played these, but they have my interest. Devontae Turpin over 11.5 on his longest reception. He started off the season going over this in 5 games in a row. Then he went under in 3 straight, but now he's gone over in 2 straight games. And CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, they're just getting all the attention, and Turpin just gets loose for at least 1 a game recently. So we'll take Turpin over, and the Lions, by the way, 11th worst defending wide receiver, so there should be room. We'll go Javonte Williams over his receiving. I think this number is a little bit too low at 11.5. 14 and 21 receiving the last 2 games. He's caught all 5 of his targets. The last 2 games, and the Lions give up over 24 yards receiving per game to running back. So those are a couple props that you can look at. And let's do a same game parlay here. And yes, you should look up the before and after Macy Barber, Lino. Yes, absolutely do that. It's worth a few seconds. All right, same game parlay. I put plus 178. This is all the way up to plus 184 now, so you're getting even better odds. I pulled this off of DK. Jared Goff, 2+ touchdown passes. He's done this in 5 out of 6 home games this season, and this Cowboys pass defense has given up the most passing touchdowns this season, so this was a pretty easy one to throw in there. Jahmyr Gibbs, 70+ rushing. He does this weird thing where he's been alternating good games and bad games rushing. Here are his rushing totals: 136 and 25, 142 and 39, 219, then 68. He's ready for a big game. They need him with the injuries to Monroe St. Brown and Laporta. Let's lock this in at 70+ rushing. And then Dak Prescott, 230+ passing yards. He has gone for 237 or more in all games on turf this season. We have a high total. Joe Raineri was telling you he likes the first half team total over on Dallas. I think they get there with a lot of passing. So we'll take Dak, 230 passing. That gets us to plus 178, we're calling it right now. All right, it's going to do it for Thursday's show. Tomorrow, guys, you know what day it is. It's Football Friday. We have a huge show. We have a very special segment. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, but the weekend sets up perfect for a special guest and a special segment that when we presented it to him, he said, that is so right up my alley. So we're going to take him up on that. So join us tomorrow, same time, same place. We're going to get you ready for all the college football, all the NFL. We have a huge, huge weekend. Again, Thursday Night Football, best bet is up. We're testing that 23-12 run. Thank you so much, chat. Thank you so much, guys, watching this after the live show. Really, really appreciate you guys. Please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. 250,000 people have subscribed already, so we got to be doing something right. So can't wait to break all the games down tomorrow. Good luck on your bets. Let's have a big Thursday. See you tomorrow. Take care.